whole awakening idea sometimes is the very thing that is in the way of awakening. The idea of awakening. Because truly there is nothing that awakens. It's not like something wasn't here and suddenly appears. It's seeing that there is nothing there that disappears. It's kind of funny in a way. But that the whole idea and seeking of some kind of experience, an aha moment or something that needs to happen, very often is the last frontier. Very often is the most difficult thing to let go. Just imagine if you are seeking for 50 years or something. And that thing has been staring in the face all these years. How much investment is in that idea of awakening? You know, if you count all the teachers, all the books, all the retreats and cruise ships and wherever was on the way to get to this silent presence that it's always been here. It's exhausting. So there is nothing and no one that awakens. There's no awakening. There's nobody here to awaken. And if that's a frustrating message, if this is like hitting the nerve, let's talk. Let's talk. I can hear all the buts, you know, but this and that said so, and Nadia Shanti said that, and Newman Parsons or whoever else said that. Yeah. They can say whatever they want to say. It's like trying to get with the mind something that is beyond mind. It's not possible. It cannot be done. And that which is beyond mind is not asleep and it's not awakening. It's not waking up. It's never been. Other than this present awareness, this presence that is already here, fully on. And let's explore that. If you are here with this question of how to awaken, when is it going to happen, what can I do? Please unmute your microphone and let's explore together.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey everyone. My name is Stephen, and I've been trying to go through various meetup groups, trying to meet like-minded people who actually believe in the same belief. For example, I went to meetup.com, but it's kind of hit or miss, in terms of what you encounter, and it's mostly misses, actually entirely misses.
Oh.
But Ilona?
Ilona.
Yeah, the way I came about your group was that I Googled self-illusion in quotes and also meetup, and you were the second link on the Google page, so that's how I came about this meeting. But in terms of the illusion of the self, I'm already there. I realized that the self is an illusion, and just to summarize what that is that the whole concept of the self is the belief that there's a thinker of thoughts, that there's actually a doer of actions, that there's an experiencer in addition to the experience. But in reality, there's simply experience. That's all there really is. And another thought there is that this is a whole concept of subject object, which is like a duality type of concept where I'm the subject and the object. That's all I have.
Very welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, these meetings are about I had to see that in your own experience rather than just sharing ideas about this. What's in actuality? How does it work? Okay. Well,
Yeah, one of the things I've been thinking about, like the whole concept of self, is a really strong illusion, right? The whole illusion of the self, and I think that what actually drives that, I would say primarily drives that, is memories. Because if you like really think about memories, memories is something which is generated by the brain. It's something that's part of our biology. But if you think of like people out where they have these medical conditions where unfortunately they have like short-term memory. Like there's a gentleman in the UK, for example, like he was in an accident, not an accident, but he actually had like a viral infection where he had a short-term memory of like about say 5 seconds or so. But that got me thinking, like the whole concept of self is really generated because of memories. Because if you really think of say a person without memory, where's that whole concept of the self? Like how does that happen if a person doesn't have any memories?
I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know. Once we all lose memory, we can discuss this. We'll see.
Well, you, you could actually think of it like a thought experiment, right? Like for example, say a person, for example, like they went to a zoo, right? At say 12 o'clock p.m. and they're experiencing like animals looking at the zoo, and then at 3 p.m. they go to the grocery store, and at 6 p.m. that person takes a walk in the park, and at 9 p.m. they they're uh, they're at a museum looking at paintings, for example, right? So if you look at that person and just think about that person in an abstract way, where that person doesn't have any memory whatsoever, that person is having an experience through time, right? Having an experience at 12 o'clock, at 3 p.m., at 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. But the whole concept of the self, really can't be generated, right? Because you kind of did this or I did that through time to actually have that feeling that there's a me who's doing that, right? So that's the
I
big
think it's
illusion.
more than that, just the memory. It's a little bit more than that. But yeah, memory is part of it, sure. Because the mind movie is about me having an experience, and me having experience in the past, and me will have experience in the future. So this me is imagined. And there is some kind of sense of continuity. Yes, we remember that we've been told that we are the separate self, and that's part of the problem. Because having memory and thinking that I'm a separate self is kind of a different thing. The body has memory. We remember stuff. But this idea of self or me is learned. And we remember that. Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
I think the feelings also have some continuity.
Feelings, yeah.
And, there is some sort of a memory type thing in the feeling because they have continuity, and you get a sense of self through the feelings also. Even if you had some sort of disease which where you lost all your memories, you still seem to have a self because of the feelings. Which is why in the previous times, the mystics used to talk about getting rid of the negative feelings, because that is supposed to be the veil. In the old days, that was supposed to be the veil, the feelings. As long as you did not have negative feelings, you were more likely to see whatever, the face of God, metaphorically. And these days they talk mostly about the moment of no self. But I haven't heard of a teacher or guru who was full of hate and anger and jealousy and whatever. They always, pretty much through their extreme negative feelings, very light feelings they have. So it seems that indirectly or directly, negative feelings are inversely related to being able to, have no self. It is rooted in feelings as well, besides memory.
Yes. Yeah, it kind of has to go, the system has to go through your purification, become purer. And if you look at this, that when there is no resistance, there is no push and pull to what is happening, there is no me, there's no self, there's nothing, no one here to resist anything. That feeling of resistance is often misidentified to be me, I. Yeah, and when there is no resistance, there is just experience happening, flowing freely, as it's always been.
As long as there are strong feelings, negative feelings, it's very hard to not have to have a no self sort of a state, because that drags you back into the body and the self.
Yeah, but people have glimpses. Doesn't matter in which stage they are. People have glimpses, so it's not like it cannot be seen. It can be seen, but it doesn't stick because that purification process has to complete itself. But at least it gives some kind of idea of what's possible.
Yeah.
And usually that glimpse is like, oh, everything was okay, good, flowing freely. There's nobody here thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then back to normal. But that's kind of initiation, maybe, into the work to clear the mind and emotions.
But there used to be a lot of emphasis previously in the 200 years, 500 years ago on getting rid of the impurities, whereas that emphasis has shifted now, and it's almost like nothing matters. Just try to get that Satori experience and everything will be all right. But you will have to go through the purification in one way or another. Through Satori, you go through it in a different way, but you still go through it.
Yeah.
You still have to become aware of your feelings, and awareness is something which sort of dissipates them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right, Alec.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
These days there are a lot of talks about trauma. Being human on the planet Earth is traumatizing. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way that I came about through the concept of no self is, well, first of all, it was meditation. Mindfulness meditation is a practice that I do every day. In addition to this, Sam Harris, I'm not sure if anybody's listened to Sam Harris, but he talks about no self a lot. And he goes into detail as to the reason why the self doesn't exist. So I'm curious, has anyone ever listened to Sam Harris at all?
Yeah, I have.
His teachings? Yeah.
I don't think he's really there, but yeah, I have listened to him.
Okay, maybe somebody would like to explore that in your own experience. Hey, George.
Yes, I'd like to explore in my own experience. You and I have spoken before.
Yes.
And it's really clear to me intellectually there's no self, but I'm still stuck in that it feels like there's a separate self here.
Yeah.
I don't know what else can be done.
How about allowing that feeling to be here too? And that feeling is not a separate self, it's just a feeling.
Okay. Just allow that feeling.
Yeah.
All right.
How do you know that feeling is a separate self?
Now, that's a very good question. I can't really identify the feeling. Like I can't say, oh, I can feel it in my left knee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a feeling in that sense. Maybe I'm misusing the word feeling. There's a seeming. There seems to be a separate self. That is to say, let me be more specific. I still think that I'm the doer, even though I know intellectually not the case. It seems I'm the doer. I know I don't generate my thoughts, but when these thoughts come, I often just follow them as if they're my thoughts. So I have all these symptoms of a separate self.
What is the separate self?
Well, I would say the separate self is a self that is separate. That is, it's independent. It's independent of the rest of the world. Like separate self, it looks like there's a me over here looking out at the world. It's separate in that sense. It's separate in the sense that it can do things.
What is this separate self doing now?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What is this separate self doing now?
Talking to you.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure.
So,
Well,
okay, there is talking going on, right?
No, wait, there's talking going on.
Yes.
But you notice that when I speak, I don't prepare it. So
Right.
there doesn't seem to be a separate self in my speech.
Okay. So what does the separate self do?
Well, it chooses.
Okay, hold on. Chooses. All right. How does he choose it? Right now. Choose something right now. How does that work?
Okay, we've done this before. I'm going to choose to lift my right hand.
Uh-huh. How did that happen?
Well, the way it happened is you asked me to make a choice, and I chose to raise my right hand. Now, the interesting question is, how actually did that choice arise?
Right. Was it a thought?
Yes, I think so. I don't know. Well, let me try it again.
All right. Like, choose to lift right or left. Choose to lift right or left. Either right or either on the left. How did that happen?
Well, I decided I chose right last time, so I'm going to choose left this time. It seemed that was a thought.
How did that happen? At which point the doer came in? At which point the separate self came in and did that lifting? Or thinking? Or choosing?
I can't answer your question. It seems that that I actually made a choice.
Okay, how about choice happened? Choice happened. Choice happened.
You're asking good questions. How did that choice happen? I guess my only honest answer is I don't know.
So maybe there is no separate self, and just that separate self is being like glued to every experience because there is an assumption that it's possible. It's impossible. You said that there is separate self outside from the whole, from the life, from everything. How is that even possible?
Well, okay, I don't mean literally that it's separate. It's separate from everything in the sense that it can, well, as I say, it can independently choose, it can independently act.
It cannot. It can only choose when there is a situation and choice is needed.
I know that, but I just feel when I talk to you now, I can sort of get clear on that. But later on in the day, I'm going to go out there and make choices and think that I'm choosing. I'm going to have thoughts and I'm going to think that I'm thinking them.
Okay, let me show you something very, very simple, basic, but maybe it will help. Okay. While we've been talking here, have you been breathing?
Certainly I've been breathing.
Yeah, you have. Okay, can you notice breathing now? Notice breathing.
Okay.
And as you are noticing it, are you doing it? Or is it happening?
No, it's just happening.
Mm-hmm. So as you are noticing breathing, does it change?
Well, as I notice the breathing can change. In other words, I don't know what the breathing was like before I noticed it, but I now am noticing it.
Mm-hmm. Did you become a breather?
No.
But now you can say, I am breathing. So that means I is breathing. And I is the breather.
Okay, so in the normal course of events, there's breathing that just occurs.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I can choose. Take a deep breath. I can choose to hold my breath for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. As you are aware of it, it may change.
Say that again, please.
As you become aware of it, it may change.
What may change?
The breathing, the pattern.
Yes, as I become aware of it, it may change, yes.
Now, as it changes, do you own it? I mean, do you become a breather? Are you doing it?
No. If I'm just aware of my breathing, as you said, it's clear to me that I'm not, that it's just happening.
Right. So is everything else. But when we become aware of something, there is this sensation, that means it's a separate self. It's impossible. Everything is happening. Nothing becomes anything. There's no separate self to start breathing or start feeling or start anything.
Could I piggyback off your breathing exercise?
I'm sorry, Stephen. Hold on a second. In these meetings, we don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
When I'm talking to somebody, we just wait, everyone. And then we can share after. Okay.
So should I raise my hand, like do the hand raise thing on Zoom?
Not necessarily, but when it's more people, maybe it's a good idea. But please keep your microphones muted until we speak. It's this kind of meeting. Okay? Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, George. Here we are.
Back on here.
Back online. Yeah.
So where were we?
That the separate self is impossible. How can anything be separate from everything? How can anything be separate from everything?
Well, things are separate.
Like what?
My computer is separate from my phone.
Okay, so basically you're looking at the picture, at the color and shape, which is called computer, and the color and the shape that is called phone. And they seem different forms, yes, shapes and forms and colors, but they are not separate from color or from awareness or from seeing it.
That is correct.
Yes.
If I view them in terms of just seeing, then you're right. They're just colors there. But what I'm saying is that in my, I don't have to use the word experience, but during the course of the day, it seems to me that my computer and my phone are separate. I am separate from both of those.
Right.
That's the way it seems to me.
Yes, that's the way. But look at this. What is that?
Looks like a ring.
Right. Can you say it's gold? Also,
Well, I don't know what it's made of. I can't say.
it's yellowish. Yeah, here we go. Can you say it's a ring and it's gold?
If you say it's gold, I'll believe you it's gold. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. So it's a ring and gold, and you can see both, right? You can see both. You can see the form, and the name for the form is ring. You can see the essence, which is gold, and the gold is made into the shape of a ring. And the ring is just a name for the form of gold.
Right.
So during the day, you can say, okay, the computer is separate from the phone and this body is not connected to it, but it's all made of what? What's this?
I don't know. Not all made of gold. I'd be very wealthy if my computer were made of gold.
What's the essence here?
That's what I'm missing. The computer and the phone are separate. I mean, if I view them as mere appearances, that is, if I say, well, these are just appearances, visual appearances, color, whatever, then they're just the same in that they're both appearances. But they don't show up to me that way. They show up to me as if there's a real computer out there and a real phone out there, and they're separate.
They're not separate from experience. They're not separate from awareness.
Well,
that's the essence.
Here's the problem.
Okay.
Yes, I understand that, but that seems very conceptual. They're not separate from awareness. What the hell is awareness?
Yes. Can you know of something without knowing of it?
No, I can't know something without knowing it.
So knowing is something that is constant. Awareness. Just, I like using the word knowing because it's not a noun.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're right. Okay. Okay. I got it now. Yes. Okay. So now I get, yes, awareness, knowing of it. Yes. Okay. I'm with you now.
So knowing is the essence. Nothing is separate from the whole. That means there's everything.
Nothing is separate from the whole in the sense that they're both known.
Yeah.
So my computer and my phone are both known.
Yes.
In that sense, they're both in what you call awareness. I grant that.
And who knows it?
Who knows it?
Yes. That's the key. Who knows it?
It seems there's an I who knows that.
Right, let's find out. Let's find out. Is there I that knows it, or there's just knowing?
No, okay. Again, I can understand, and again, theoretically, I can understand there's just knowing. Theoretically, I can understand that there's no I.
Hold on. Just a second. Experientially, what's going on experientially? What is that knowing in your experience?
Okay, so in my experience, there are 5 senses or 6 senses if you include thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So in my experience, right now, there's, that's what's going on. I mean, I can describe all the things I can see.
Okay, do you see my hand moving?
Well, yes. Well,
Do you
yes,
know
it
that
looks-
my hand is moving?
Well, I don't know that. It seems to appear. Yes, it looks that way.
Right? Do you see another hand here?
Yes.
Do you know that there are something is moving on your screen? Do you know
Yes,
that?
but there are two hands.
Yes, that's fine. But you know that there is something moving.
Well, I mean, I don't know all the illusion, but yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's not look into illusion. Look in actuality. There is knowing of movement.
Yes. There's knowing of movement going on. Yes.
Do you know that you know?
Yes.
That's it. Do you know that you know? That's it.
But I don't want to take up more time because a lot of people here, but that's not it. I mean, 3 minutes from now, I'm going to be back where I was.
Yes, well, the experience is continuous, but the knowing is always here.
Okay, now also my statement that what's going to happen 3 minutes from now is absurd. I don't know what's going to happen 3 minutes from now. So that statement, I have no idea. Okay, let me just conclude by saying thank you. I don't know whether we've really made some impact here or not. I just don't know.
Okay, that's good to be here. Just acknowledge that. But you know that you exist. That's it.
Oh, I certainly know that I exist. There's existence here.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. There
Okay.
is existence. Yes.
And nothing is separate from that. That's the
Nothing
essence.
That's where I have to look.
Yeah.
Nothing is separate from that. But again, it seems that there are.
Knowing.
It seems that. Pardon?
The knowing part.
Knowing.
Yeah.
There's only knowing. Everything exists in knowing.
Mm-hmm. And you know that you are.
I don't know. We're talking about knowing. I'm saying I don't know. I rely on my mind too much.
That's good to notice. Because the mind cannot figure this out. You cannot get to this seeing by thinking. You have to see
Yes, I know that.
it. And you already see it. It's just the mind says, I don't see it. I don't get it. I. And it creates that kind of idea that there is something there. That someone here that is separate and needs to see something. That's why I said the awakening is a joke. Because there's nobody there to see anything. There's just this experience. And there's knowing of it. Direct knowing of it.
Maybe as a technique, I don't know use the word, what I should do is temporarily give up the strife, the striving for awakening.
Here we go.
Perhaps just see if I can experience things as they are. I don't know, I should end the sentence there. See if I can just be with things as they are and forget about striving for awakening. I don't know.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun. If I could really accept things as they are, the game would be over because my ultimate goal is just peace of mind. So, okay, I've taken up too much time. Thank you, Ilona.
Thank you, George. It's exactly right time. There's nothing wrong. Ever.
No, you're right. There's nothing wrong. It's just what it is. Thank you.
That's what it is. You're welcome. Thank you. It's always fun to talk to you, George.
Is it okay now if I say something?
Please, yes.
Yeah. So just to piggyback off of the breathe-in scenario that you provided to George, this is actually a question to George. Is that now that I'm mentioning breathing, George, right? You notice that you're breathing right now, and you feel that you're in control of it. You could hold your breath, or you could breathe, exhale like 5 times if you want to. So you actually have this control. But what happened before? Before I actually said that, hey, are you noticing your breath right now? Was your breath or breathing on autopilot? And then all of a sudden, when I said that, hey, listen, are you noticing your breath right now? Did something switch in your brain, which switched from autopilot to manual control, where now you're in manual control of your breath?
Yes, that's exactly so. Yes.
Well, yeah. So when you go to sleep, your breathing is on autopilot, but when you wake up, your breathing is still on autopilot. But as soon as somebody says, "Hey, George, notice your breath," that switches from autopilot to manual control.
Yes. But yes and no. As someone could say, notice your breath, and I don't have to change it in any way. I can't just notice it.
But is it you who changes that, or is it something in your brain that makes that switch? And
I have no idea.
yes. So the reason I'm asking that question is because so with the whole illusion of the self, I'm not sure if this has been discussed on this meeting, but the other side of the illusion of the self is the illusion of free will, and they're both really interconnected, right? Because everybody believes that they have free will, but the reality here is that once you come to the realization that the self is an illusion, the other side of that coin, it's like two sides of the same coin, is the illusion of free will.
Yeah.
So that whole concept that you have that all right, do you know what that Stephen just told me that he noticed my breath, and I'm noticing my breath right now, and that means that now I'm in control of it, right? Well, that's the free will aspect of it, where you think that you now have the free will. But where that's coming from, there's a concept called felt intention, right? And what that means is an example like I have my pen right over here. Now let's assume that I have my pen on my desk or my laptop, and I went with my hand, I'm about to pick it up. I feel that I have the free will to do that, and the reason is because there's a prior thought. It's very microscopic, it's very small, but it's a prior thought of me going ahead beforehand and then picking up the pen. So that thought that exists beforehand occurs first, right? And again, it's a very brief, minuscule thought. And then the action of me picking up the pen then occurs. So of course, based on my ego, and again, the word ego is just another word of having the illusion of self. Based on my ego, I feel that I am the person who's now picking up that pen. Why? Because I had that thought beforehand. So of course it's me who's picking up that pen, right?
That's how it normally runs in everyone's head, yeah.
Yeah. And just to kind of give like a kind of a funny example, when I was younger, I was playing a video game on my computer, and just like a typical video game, you push a key on a keyboard and it makes the character jump or hop and makes it punch a brick wall, whatever the case might be, right? So everything's controlled by the keyboard, right? But there was like a level on the game where I was stuck on. So then I would go to another screen where I watch a YouTube video on how that level would play out with that character. So I was playing the YouTube video and saying, okay, do you know what? That's what the character is doing. The character is jumping here, then go into that tunnel, and it's doing all these things based on the game character. So then I was going back and forth, right, between the actual game and the video. And they came to a point where I accidentally was actually on the video and I was pushing the keys on the keyboard. And for a brief second, I felt that I was in control of that character. Why? Because again, I was hitting the up button and the character would jump up, and I would hit the down button and the character would go down. And then I would do nothing, and all of a sudden, the character's moving by itself. I was like, holy crap! You know what? I'm looking at the video instead of actually playing the actual game. So that was the illusion of the free will right there, and also the whole concept of the self illusion, where I feel that I was the one who's controlling the character based on that prior thought, which is which is the felt intention that I am the one who's going to now make that character move up. And I was fooled for a second. I was fooled for the first like couple of seconds when I was stuck in that video watching it. But again, the whole reason I'm saying this, George, is that the whole illusion of free will and the whole illusion of the self are both interconnected and one and the same. And there's really nothing in your brain that's going on autopilot, because God forbid if that autopilot mechanism fails, you'd be dead, right? So breathing is just happening, right? And you're not the person who's making yourself breathe. Breathing is just happening. And when I say, hey, George, notice your breath right now, the reason that you feel that you're in control of it is because again, you have that prior thought. And again, that's where the ego kicks in. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay. Here we are.
Ciunaite, just a quick question. Have you discussed the illusion of free will as well, since they're interconnected to the illusion of the self?
Absolutely.
Have you discussed that?
There is nobody to have a free will. Or not to have it. To have it or not to have it. That's the whole thing. But in life there are situations where using words free will makes sense and it's practical. For the way we describe things. But
do you get a lot of resistance from people who still believe that they have free will? No.
What do you mean resistance? We are here exploring stuff.
No, meaning that someone who's very adamant that they actually do have free will.
I don't think they come to the meeting. They're discussing this thing in a different meeting. Yeah, it's all the illusion of control, illusion of a doing, and making things happen, free will. It's all one thing. Based on the idea that there's somebody here to have it, or not to have it.
I would like to ask something.
Please.
It's a little bit also in regards to what Stephen just said, and free will and everything's just happening. What I think about often is, if this is just like happening out of the immediacy, like just by itself, why is there something like an intelligent evolution, like that car motors are engineered better so that they consume less fuel? People seemingly think of sending rockets, making them better, faster, more stable. How could the immediacy, like this whole thing, be interested in anything constant or forming relationship if it's just like, I feel all those things come more out of a fear that is associated to egos. We want to make things safe. We want to be safer in cars and accidents. We create airbags. So I feel like the immediacy, like this intelligence, wouldn't have fear of all this. It would just be free flowing. So I feel this whole story that is seemingly not coming from some will, from some intelligence. I mean, there is definitely this intelligence which makes like a body work, breathing, like all these organs, but would it think of something like, let's create a rocket because this Earth, like Elon Musk kind of thoughts, this Earth might be unlivable in some 100, 200 years, so let's go there. And this seems so human, small-minded, kind of fear-based. So I'm really, but if we don't have this free will and this is just a story unfolding, So how could it be such a fearful story?
Why not?
Yeah, that's just the thought. Why not? Of course. But if I allow the thought, is like, if you look at the greatness of the universe, then this planet, what's happening here, is so small-minded. This is so how can this be? Just because it happens that there's this small-minded humanity which is thinking of the like, I don't know.
The sandbox is for these children to play. It looks like this. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know it just seems so like it's such a intellectual mind thing what happens in terms of evolution or next steps of like evolving or project management or whatever, building companies. This is all fear-based. You can trace it down to money. I have to live, I have to whatever. I want to have a little more, I want to have more comfort. And this is not what I associate to the self. This is like such a so do you understand a little bit, or maybe
we are in a stage of a kindergarten, not like masters of the universe yet, and this sandbox is precisely for that. I don't know, but it seems like.
So it somehow seems that to tap into that and stay in that, it's needed not to question anything at all, like losing all, giving up all rejection, because I feel ego is basically rejection. The individual self comes from rejection. Separation comes from rejection. But if I just let go, if I just let everything flow, you know, is that safe to be there?
Oh my God.
It's
yes.
like
Yes, because if you stop, if you let everything flow, it's flowing already anyway.
it's like this. It will be exactly the same, huh?
Yes, because it's already flowing. Now it's flowing with the mind twists and mind gymnastics and trying to figure it out, denying, hiding, running. But it's running on its own by itself. And, you know, there's freedom to experience. It's not freedom from experience. It's freedom to experience what it's like to be on this planet Earth where these human beings are running on fear. There's freedom to experience that. And this is what it looks like. What it's like to stop being afraid and let life flow as it already flows. There's freedom to experience that too.
So would you say it's best to, or even necessary or a natural happening to drop this question, why, completely?
Yes, because that's the question that children ask in the kindergarten. Why is this? Why is that? The answer is just because. You know the answer. It's just because. That's how it is. There's nothing wrong with this question. You can ask it all you want, but all you get is stories about stuff. Stories about stories about stories, and there's no right answer to any story. How do you know? You just see what is. Why are we here? We are here just because we are here. Is that enough?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ali, please.
Me?
Yeah, I saw your hand raising. Your hand is risen. Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that there is a lot of, it seems, conflating the relative with the absolute. We live in the relative world, and in the relative world, the computer is the computer, and the phone is the phone, and we navigate through the relative world through noticing these things, including will. Free will, we notice in the relative world until we reach that absolute world where there is no will and there is nothing. Nothing is. But in the relative world, we do have will. We feel a sense of will, and if we have to be honest with ourselves. It is a felt human experience. As long as we are in the relative world, we know we have a will. I know I can choose. I know I can do X, Y, Z. So it's like in the 1930s, there used to be these intellectuals just after the nature of the atom and quantum mechanics was starting out. There used to be these intellectuals who used to talk about that the wall is not really a wall because it's only made of molecules and there is 99.999% is only space. But you don't walk through the wall still. You have to accept that the wall is there in human terms. In the same way, the will is there in human terms as long as you do not reach a certain level. It's like, it's not enough to just say, okay, I don't have free will.
Oh, no, it's not like that. It's not like I don't have free will.
You have to go through the whole process.
Yeah, because it's either I have a will or I don't have a will. It's on the same scale. Right? I have the will or I don't have the will.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but that will is not free. What is it free from?
Yeah.
That's another thing to look at. What is this will free from? It's not free from situations. It's not free from conditioning. It's not free from what's happening. You can say I have a free will to be here today, but I don't. It's what's happening. There's nothing here to decide to be or not to be. It's what's happening.
What about the realized person? Does the realized person have free will or not?
Let's go and ask them. There's no realized person. The person is... the language is so twisted here because to realize self is to realize that there is no person. So even to say to go and ask realized person, it already doesn't make sense.
The realized body-mind then. the one who is speaking.
It's not the body-mind realizes it.
This is like cheating because you know what is meant, but you evade the question.
No, I know exactly what you meant, but okay, let's go and find one. Ask them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the joke. Like Alan once said on YouTube. I didn't meet him. So, if you think you are a person, you've been had.
Yeah. But as long as you think that you have a mug or a cell phone or something, Alan Watts, well, not Alan Watts, but other people also say there is nothing, right? There is nothing.
Okay, yeah.
So there is nothing, yet there is a mug. But they also talk about mugs and they also talk about laptops, etc.
Yes.
So as long as you're allowed to talk about mugs and laptops, you are also allowed to talk about will.
Yes. Can talk
They
about
have
it.
a similar level of unreality to them.
Yeah.
Although the will maybe has a little bit more unreality because it is like software compared to hardware. But still it is there until you perceive experientially that there is no will. And you also maybe perceive that there is nothing. It's just
you can see that nothing right here, right now. It's that silence in between the words.
but then I would be experiencing the silence.
Oh no, there's. Have a look.
Okay.
Is there I in that silence?
Oh, there is no I in that silence. You're right.
So whatever arises in this nothing is what comes and goes, and this nothing, let's call it that, or silence, or presence, beingness. It's constant.
Nice.
And in that silence, there is no will or nothing. Nothing.
Hmm. There is neither will nor no will because there is silence only. There is only arising.
Yeah, there's being and happening. Being and happening is and what shows up. Being and happening. Like ocean and waves. It's not separate, but the waves cannot be without the ocean. An ocean can be without waves. It's being, experiencing, same thing.
Okay.
Can I?
Please.
So all this free will, no free will, this is all the waves, the appearances of the ocean, of the awareness. So there is no right or wrong, it's just appearances. There's some teachers saying that, some teachers saying that, some say right, wrong, but it's all just appearances in this silence.
Yeah. Talk about it or not. Doesn't change anything. Can make a conclusions or not. If you make a conclusion, then you say, "Oh, I know what that is." Put on the shelf. Now I know, right?
Yes, already crashed by the intellect. Maybe that's why Ramana said best is to remain silent in that stillness in between. The moment you give it a word, it's already lost.
But it can also be. The waves are, okay, there's nothing wrong with waves.
Yeah, it's a little, that's Leela. It's the entertaining thing. It has some. And somehow we wanted to play this, huh? I mean, it has to come from somewhere. Even if it's the oneness saying it's boring, this unmanifested consciousness, let's do something.
Here we go. We are right here in the meeting doing something.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Right. When you think like person. No, it's just this beingness, personing, talking, laughing, exploring.
Yes.
The present moment is like this. Tastes like tea for me. Peppermint. It's a little bit like this. If you look at the fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4 separate fingers, and they're moving, they're doing whatever they want. Only they're on the same hand. They're not doing whatever they want. And this hand is extension of life. So what's moving these fingers? Are they moving whatever they want, or are they being moved by this mysterious, don't even know what to say, mystery? Peter just got reset.
The microphone's still on.
Okay, would anyone else like to share? For the end, we're almost there. Back.
One of the things that seems to always happen is that we start making these experiences of others the rhetoric, and then instead of speaking from our experience, we try to put our normal experiences into that rhetoric. We start saying, "Oh, there is no where, there is no this, there is no self, etc." When we have not experienced it, and there is we end up fooling ourselves also. We're not able to experience the fact that we are not experiencing that. It becomes like the old religious stuff where everybody tried to fit into a religious pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes also another religion. So maybe, like whether the relative and absolute are the same or things like that. You need to experience the thing, and as long as one has not experienced it, then you have to give acknowledgement to the relative as well, to the ordinary as well, to your experience. It has to be sort of seeking the absolute, or I don't know, maybe being in the now still. I don't know. I'm sure somebody can trip me up on my words, but I just think that we should not make it a rhetoric. This is the truth, as you say, as you imply, that we have no idea. This is it. Whatever is, it's always changing. We can't put it into a box.
I totally agree with you, Ali.
Thank you.
Can I?
sorry.
I was reading your biography online, and you're writing about going into your living room on a candlelit evening when it was raining, and was that your first insight in terms of having no self?
That was the first time I experienced that the mind shut up talking and it was just pure being. So it was a glimpse, which set me on a seeking path, because I wanted that. Yeah. And it was delivered by magic mushrooms. So. Thank you, mushrooms.
You know how many grams you took of magic mushrooms? Did you measure it? Like how many grams? Or did you just take it?
No.
Yeah.
It was a full dose, nice dose. And I experienced that I died, or something died. It was magical.
Can I ask?
Yes, please.
2 quick questions. One, is there any reality to other people? In other words, I'm sitting here and you're telling me that you're a person who's asking me questions and you're drinking something that tastes like peppermint. And that's not my experience. My experience is hearing you say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we relate to others? Do we think that there's no one else in the world? There's just me experiencing, and then also about like kindness. Is there any value to morality and kindness? Is it something we do just because it feels good, or is there no choice and we just get to observe what this body mind does and what happens around us, including to this body mind that we call ourselves? Do we have any effect over anything, and how do we view what is happening? Do we say we are in a meeting now of other beingnesses, or like how do we look at everything?
That's so many questions. Right. If I would say that there is only this rain and there is no other gold on the planet, would you believe me? No, because there's a lot of gold. And so there are many forms, and these body minds, they are here. This is, where's my zoom? Something happened to my camera. Oh, yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, so we cannot say that there are no other people sitting here and talking, because we all know that we are here. But we are not separate from life, from the aliveness, from presence. It's one life, one awareness, one knowing. How else can I say that? There's one essence. There's one silence. There's not my silence, your silence. There's one silence. So this silence is appearing as many waves, as many people, as many individual experiences, and it's all unique and individual, and you cannot compare that. Whatever is known here is not known there. But that doesn't mean that this is separate from life itself or from this silence. It's kind of connecting in a different way. Not through the form, but through the essence. If that makes sense. And kindness. Kindness is such a overrated, underrated power. It's like the highest power is kindness. And yeah, it's natural to be kind when we see that it's all one. It's not just that because it feels good. I think that's what we are, the heart, the love, expressing itself, really.
So do you see all the people now on the Zoom as different observers or different awarenesses, like different points of observation happening, different experiencers?
I see my experience of all these other people. I mean, I see my experience of looking at the screen and seeing heads and half bodies. And then the mind may project and imagine and start building the stories about these other people, but the experience is this present moment is like this. It's not like there are other people outside of my experience. There's one experience right now. Like I can hear this voice, I can hear your voice. It's in my experience, in this experience. In the now.
So like, are you the only one that exists?
Oh, no. No, not talking about this body mind that one exists. That's just complete nonsense. Imagine that. The body mind is the appearance in this vastness of existence. The vastness of existence is only one that exists. There's nothing other than that. That's how I see it. But not the body mind organism, the only one in the universe. That's called solipsism or something. And people can get lost in that.
So it's like people are different points of awareness situated in different parts?
Let's say like this. There is one awareness, one knowing, but there are many minds. And mind is a unique expression of awareness. Like there is a tree and there are many leaves. Many leaves. Can't say there is only one leaf. There are many leaves. They're all unique. So the minds are like that.
I guess my question is, when you see a person in front of you, do you think that is a person that I can positively or negatively affect with my behaviors or actions? Do you believe that there's an awareness there that you can have an effect on the experience that awareness is having?
The mind is having, yeah. 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 There are different minds with their own different conditioning. And all these minds affect each other, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, body minds, not separate from the body. Let's not do that. Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to end here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. So, thank you everyone so much for showing up. This lively busy meeting. Thank you. We can do this again next month on a Thursday again, third Thursday of the month. And you're also welcome to join on a deep looking, which is a little bit different meeting on the first Sundays of each month. Thank you. Bye, everyone.